Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. My name is Brian Engelman, and that is Blake Walley, and this is Tuesday, June 27th, 2023, and this is the Agree to Disagree show. All right. See, I'm still hearing the music playing. Are you hearing the music playing still?
No, not anymore. Is there a delay? You're in?
Yeah, it doubled up on me. I didn't press it twice, but it played twice. So thanks.
All righty.
Whoa, it is on a delay. Something is wrong here.
All right. I mean, it looks okay on my end. It seems like everything's fine. I don't know. Hello, Jody, and anybody. Maybe Brian's going to need to reboot here. But it is June 27th, 2023. Got a lot of interesting news stories to cover today on the Agree to Disagree show. I am Blake Walley, along with Brian Engelman once he gets back. A lot of Biden family corruption. That's going to be a dominant story, as well as the leaked Trump audio. It's certainly interesting. Let's go over some of the other headlines. We're going to have inflation due to climate change, and you guys can chime in whether you agree or disagree with some of the captions we have today. There we go, Brian. That's weird that you popped out and then the background changed. I don't understand why that happened. That was odd.
I don't know. There's something ethereal about the cloudscape. I like that. What other topics? You're going through the headlines. Continue. Give everybody the heads up on what we're about to experience in this fast hour of news today.
Right. Do you guys think that? Well, I don't have the captions in front of me, Brian, but obviously.
All right. Well, how about this? This? Let's just jump into our number one topic of the day. God, there's so many topics, though. It's hard to figure out what is most important. But let's get it started right now. Please leave your comments, by the way. Comments are great. We love that extra perspective. It takes us on additional tangents. I love additional tangents.
Oh, I know.
All right, Blake, this was all the rage over the past couple of days. A lot of stuff to unpack here. Do you agree or disagree that the CIA could have funded a mutiny, an attempted mutiny against Putin with the Wagner group?
Oh, now one of us froze. And I'm guessing it's actually Brian this time. Oh, there you go.
Yep, I can hear you. You're good.
Oh, okay. It looked like you froze. Was it me? You got better internet. I don't know what's going on. Usually I get an alert that one of your streams is down. But yeah, that was certainly a monster story over the weekend. And we weren't really sure how that was developing. Friday, you looked over at the left-wing Twitter, they would have been celebrating that this rogue mercenary general turned against Putin, was marching on Moscow, was going to take over the military installation, get all the people on their side, and take over Russia for Ukraine and NATO. And their victory was sealed. And then less than 24 hours later, everything unraveled. And he went, this guy, the head of the Wagner group, went back to Ukraine onto the front lines with his mercenary army. I guess it's like 80% like Russian prisoners trying to get a reduced sentence. So they're kind of fighting for their freedom in a way. Not necessarily.
Yeah, that's a reality show for you. That's like what, Running Man? What was the name with
The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, it was one of the greatest 80s movies.
But was that the deal? They were prisoners and they were trying to escape, or they had to fight their way out or something?
Yeah, that was part of it. Yeah, like he was like a high profile arrest. But his name was like Ben Johnson or something. I'm Ben Johnson. Yes. So I forget his name. But that was good. Well, they framed him in the movie, and then they got to battle it out with these assassins.
But that's exactly what we're talking about here. Is the CIA trying to frame this Wagner group? Are they trying to frame Putin? Are they trying to and this was just days after they made a mistake and sent $6 billion. Sorry, I forgot the air quotes for you listening on our Spotify stream. Oops, here's $6 billion. Oh, now here's a coup. And then it's like, hold on. Did Putin knew about this in advance and it shut down, or was it all a double psyop? Was this catering guy in charge of the Wagner group? Was he playing the CIA? Did he actually attempt a coup? Did he get so grandiose? Did he get a Zelensky / Ron DeSantis syndrome, where they think they're way bigger than their britches actually are? And they thought they were more important and powerful than they actually were, and they tried something and it was soundly rejected. I don't know. I don't think you can trust any of this. Most of the commentators you'll listen to, they'll say fog of war, and that is true. That's 100% true. We don't know anything. It's all propaganda at this point, but we know what the United States has been pushing. And this is Lindsey Graham and Joe Biden. So it's the neocons and it's the left wing. It is the uniparty pushing back against this. At least, President Trump didn't get us into brand new foreign conflicts, and that's partially the reason why they wanted him out of there. That's what they're trying to impeach him now for, allegedly not wanting to go to war with Iran. It's just, we're in a cuckoo clock, Blake. But anyway, back to this Putin story specifically. Several days later, what are we supposed to take away from this? I mean, I was kind of terrified, thinking, hold on a second here. So the American CIA is going to overthrow Moscow. Oh my God, if they're doing that, what are they going to do domestically? And so, like, when this did not happen, you kind of went, okay, well, God, that would have, could that technique have spread across the country, or across the globe, rather? So I don't know. What is your takeaway on this now? We've had days to digest stories and fake stories and partial stories. What do we do with this now?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. It's kind of this weird double oopsie by the Pentagon, and we found $6.2 billion. Hey, let's give a bunch to Ukraine. So some can speculate that maybe that when you get a mercenary leader, they usually go for the highest bidders. They're not usually loyal to any particular country per se. So yeah, you can outbid, and perhaps, and maybe this guy was willing to take a bribe from the CIA as part of an attempted coup against Putin. But that just seems like a suicide mission. He's got 25,000 troops, and they might be some of the toughest people on the globe, but that doesn't matter when you're going to go against Putin and a lot of your own people. If a lot of these guys are prisoners from Russia or what have you, but I guess cooler heads prevailed. It would have been a big mess on Putin, especially like an internal civil war within Russia like that. I don't know whose side the people are going to take, but it seems like the people do really like Putin, and I have a hard time believing that they would just jump with this like barbarian mercenary leader. It might be a noble guy, what have you. I don't know, but he's been used to help the offensive front there in Ukraine. It's kind of interesting that Putin's putting these guys on the front lines rather than some of the more nationalistic Russian soldiers. So, but we'll pop up a couple of stories here if I can find them. I got a lot of tabs open.
Yes, go ahead and find them while I make this point. I mean, there was a lot of talk that this general was saying, look, there's something rotten in Denmark. Our troops are getting hit disproportionately. There's bad intelligence. There's something that's happening that's drastically increasing the amount of casualties that we're taking. There's something wrong with our strategy. The generals on the ground they're compromised or they're completely incompetent. And the story came out as it first appeared. It was saying, well, this general is fighting to defend his people because something is awry with the situation. So it wasn't necessarily painted as a coup against Putin. It was just that, look, the generals you have who are running this thing, they're getting us killed, and we're not doing this anymore. It was, almost like a barista strike at Starbucks. Take something mundane. It's not life or death, but they're just like, look, our working conditions are just deplorable. You're asking us to do X, Y, and Z, and we just can't do this anymore. So they did a strike and had a thing, and then they talked it over and figured it out and calmed down. I don't know, but what do these stories say? What do you got here?
Well, yeah, that's definitely part of it. And maybe there was a mistake and there was a missile strike, and I guess they lost about 25 or 30 men. And then when you're in the midst of the war, you never know if you're getting double crossed or what have you. And maybe there's some issues between this guy's name was Prigozhin, or if he's having an issue with the defense minister, or there's issues and there's misinformation that's being thrown about there. And there was, it almost got ugly there for a minute. Or there was CIA bribes, or maybe this was all done by design by, some are saying that this is all part of a master plan by Putin to figure out who was loyal to him or what have you, or that he was using, trying to trick Ukraine and NATO into advancing on a line. And then there was, defensive fire, and they actually pulled out a victory because of it. But no one really is entirely sure.
And you know what? It's almost like any one of these theories could be equally plausible at this point. Remember when President Trump was getting interviewed? I forget who he was talking to, but he said he almost wishes, or something along the lines. I'm going to paraphrase, but he says, I almost wish that I would lose everything just so I could see who's actually loyal. He's like, you never really know who's loyal until it happens. I think you know the quote I'm talking. I forget. Do you remember who he was talking to?
Not exactly, but I do remember a quote similar to that. And these kind of things happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and what you were saying is like, well, I mean, maybe this could have been part of a plan to see. All right, so how far will the CIA go? Who will they bribe? How, what impacts will this have? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? It's war. War sucks. War's awful. President Trump routinely says he's the only one that can stop this because he's not part of the Uniparty, fixated on attacking and destroying, this region of the world right now. But anyway, what else? So this article's, what else we get?
This one out of Information Liberation claims that the leader was not trying to overthrow Putin. It says that he was carrying out tasks, and he was going to transfer some vehicles. There was a helicopter attack. 30 of the Wagner fighters died. That triggered a immediate decision to move out and respond militarily. They turned around towards Moscow. I guess there were some aircraft shot down. Not really sure. They took over some kind of a building, a military building. And then they decided to cause a ceasefire. They didn't want to have spill Russian blood in a, bloody mutiny, civil war type of issue. That would have been bad. And then they got on the same page, and he was sent back to the front lines in Ukraine, which Putin said an armed mutiny would have been suppressed, betraying the country, killing soldiers. They're saying the things they need to say, I guess. What do you do in a situation like that where there's some, friendly fire, or, mistakes made, or maybe there was money from the CIA. I don't know, or confusion was set up, but these things happen, probably, especially now with the misinformation that they're able to put out there. So, but anyway, it's not a good thing. And Biden actually was forced to respond on the Wagner mutiny, saying that we were not involved. But he also said they weren't involved with the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage, when they're actually on video bragging that they would do that as part of their playbook. So there's nothing. You really can't believe any of these parties. You can't believe the news. We don't really know. I guess it's going to be up to some honest journalists or historians to dig out the truth from whatever's actually happening between Russia and Ukraine right now. But we do know that the CIA has meddled. They have overthrown the regime back in 2014 in Ukraine, and it's been a mess. And Putin reluctantly has gotten involved, and they're in there now, and they're just dumping tons of money into Ukraine, trying to fight off Putin. But nothing seems to be working. And it seemed like they were going to flip the tables, but it ended up backfiring, and nothing actually came out of it. In fact, Elon Musk put out this great tweet you were just mentioning. Yeah, with the neocons, as Wagner pulls out from advancing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bold, and he didn't pull it down. It's from a few days ago. So but that was amazing watching, like, the Lincoln Party grifters, the neocons in general, the Rick Wilsons, the Bill Kristols, and they're cheering on this war, acting like they knew what was going on. The tide had flipped against Putin. Jim Cramer even jumping out. I mean, there were so many people that were, celebrating over this, but then it ended up less than 24 hours just completely fizzling out. So,
but it was interesting to see who was cheering on what component of what they were hoping was going to happen. It's almost like you get a tell from that, who got giddy from the situation. And so while all this is going on, we're trying to unpack this. I think some of the most important stuff is happening domestically. Freaking finally. Did you have another article to reference before I bounce to the next joining topic?
Just how awful this war is, and how they're putting up mercenaries. Ukrainian military is being thrown into the meat grinder. A lot of them have been thrown into Bakhmut, and these are the horrors of war. This is actually covered by Vice News. I thought they were going to go bankrupt, but I guess they're still around. But they're covering how some of these Ukrainian men, they're inexperienced and they have no business. A lot of them have never actually held a gun. I don't know if you saw, they were shaming a lot of people by duct taping them to street signs and stuff for people that didn't want to go into the war. But, they're showing inexperienced Ukrainian soldiers are being, sent into the meat grinder and dying sometimes within hours on the front lines. So, they have to get mercenaries or NATO forces or what have you. But it's really sad that they keep prolonging this conflict.
Yeah, and what a great way. Now kind of putting this together. Yeah. So let's disproportionately, unnecessarily try to lock up nonviolent people and inflate the prison population, and then let them try to get out by fighting in these wars for us. It's just like, it's being conscripted. And, you look back to the Revolutionary War, the Civil War. I mean, there were a lot of people that had never held guns. Like, war is hell. War sucks. You got an 8-year-old or an 11-year-old that knows how to operate the machinery. It's just, you got to go. What else are you going to do? It's life or death. I don't know. I mean, the history of wars, that's kind of what it looks like, which is what sucks about it. So anyway, while this is all happening, there's a lot happening domestically that I think is super important to cover. Hence the title of today's show, Blake.
Yeah.
So, it's just one distraction after another. It's a submarine, it's a Russian coup. By the way, can we look at the difference between an actual coup and what they said January 6th was? Can we talk about overthrowing a nation? I don't know, like the deep state and Obama and Biden did in 2014 to Ukraine, and what some people said happened in 2020. You overthrow a nation, this is kind of what it looks like. But people walking around taking selfies and lifting up a podium inside of the Capitol is a far cry from an actual attempted coup on a nation. Remember, January 6th, for all the people that were passionate about the fact that they did not buy the validity or lack thereof, rather. They did not have faith in the institution after witnessing all sorts of things in 2020, and including the fact that the guy who didn't campaign allegedly beat the guy that was selling out arenas everywhere. That's a big difference. Literally overthrowing a country looks very different from walking around and taking selfies and praying for some police that opened the doors and gave you a personal guided tour. It's night and day. What's that picture of, Blake?
This is from Sri Lanka last year when they had enough with their elected officials. That is also what a real insurrection looks like. When people
It looks like a mostly peaceful protest. And then maybe some people are doing some things.
That is an actual storming of a state capitol and the politicians fleeing for their lives.
All right, politicians fleeing for their lives. However many seconds are left from this meat corpse Joe Biden, this creepy, completely complicit, potentially traitorous. I don't know. There's another word there, but I won't use it. Talk about Joe Biden, man. Like, there have been a lot of accusations in the past 4 days since our last show. And I was saying to Blake, God, so much news occurs in 4 days. We've got to get to it. But yeah, more and more is coming out about Biden. So do you agree or disagree, Blake, that if Biden were innocent of family charges, he would have said something?
I will agree. And that is a headline stolen directly from the Federalist, which I will pull out. President Joe Biden was innocent. He would have spoken up by now. You would think about whether his country to fight. I mean, if you're being accused of laundering 20 or 30 million dollars, depending on who you talk to, throughout the family and covering it up with taxes and shell companies or what have you. Yeah, you would think that if it was all just made up, he would come out, address it, and say there's nothing to it. But they're not really coming up with many answers. They just seem to be trying to get people to look in different directions with different distractions. So what exactly does the Biden family do to warrant massive payments from foreign nationals? How many Bidens are profiting from this? Was Joe Biden really in the room when Hunter was threatening a Chinese Communist Party official to keeping a commitment over WhatsApp? Why did a Ukrainian FBI informant refer to Joe Biden as the big guy? Does that mean Biden was on the receiving end of foreign money designated for the big guy? Why were millions of dollars of payments diverted to the Bidens through a series of diluted payments to multiple bank accounts? There's many things, and it was great. It was very refreshing for the actual liberal media in the White House press corps and at the Pentagon, calling out KJP and the stooge Kirby at the Pentagon about these things, and they were just trying to dodge the questions. In fact, they both, Kirby of the Pentagon actually stopped his presser early because he didn't want to take it, which was glorious.
You don't have that clip pulled up, do you?
I can certainly find it. Yeah, that wouldn't.
If you want to see somebody uncomfortable in their skin, take a look at either of these, the Karine Jean-Pierre or the Kirby moment. Also, you said 20 to 30 million with Biden. Go up. I am telling you, this is scratching the surface of what they've been scamming. My gut instinct says you can 10x or 100x this stuff. He's been vice president for 8 years. He's been the resident for 3. I mean, come on. He's been grifting and doing his traitorous deeds allegedly for more than a decade. I bet you it's at least 10x, if not 20, 30x, that 20 to 30 million reported. This is not the first deal they got involved with. I would bet money on it. It's just my hunch. But anyway.
Oh, I'm sure he's been in Washington forever, so there's a lot of things that he could have been doing. Okay, so let's actually now I can pull this up, share this instead. Here we go. This is John Kirby.
Kirby's Dreamland.
House Ways and Means Committee yesterday released documents, their authenticity nowhere challenged. That included a July 2017 WhatsApp message sent by Hunter Biden to Henry Zhao, a Chinese Communist Party official, which stated in its entirety, and I quote, "I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father," unquote. So just a couple of questions about this. First, does this not undermine the president's claim during the 2020 campaign and the reaffirmations of that claim by his two press secretaries since then, that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with him?
No, and I'm not going to comment further on this.
I'm
not. James, let me save you some. Let me save you some breath. If you're going to ask about this, I am not addressing. I know you do more than I'd like you to have. I am not going to address this issue from this podium. I'm just not going to do it.
All right.
I'm not going to do it.
Where was the precedent on it?
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Oh my God! Yeah, hand it over to KJT.
Did you see her? She went, "Oh God!" Like, can you rewind it for like just as he passes and she realizes, she kind of tilts her head back like, "Oh God, here I go." Just I don't know if you caught. Let me see if that.
Oh yeah, she's like that, rolling her eyes, like I can't believe these people have the audacity to ask us.
No, not even that. It was Kirby. You're throwing me under the bus, man. Why don't you take some of the arrows? What now? I got to go back out there again. That's what I saw. Let me see that one more time.
Yep, here we go.
Address. I know you do more than I'd like you to have. I am not going to address this issue from this podium. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Where was the precedent on it?
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
She goes, like her head tilts to the side, like, ugh.
Yep, he didn't
It's
even
still
look at her.
tilted in the pause there. She's like, ugh.
He couldn't wait to get out of there, and she is like, "Oh God,
Back to the wolves." All right, so yeah, I heard President Trump talking about this, and he said, "Yeah, and who would have thought Hunter was such a tough guy?" He was reading these comments. It's pretty stunning. And don't forget that Pelosi in Congress impeached President Trump for calling on Zelensky to investigate the criminal activity, the bribery, the corruption of Hunter and Joe Biden. And they said, you know what? We're going to impeach you for daring to inquire about the criminal activity we're engaged in, alleged criminal activity that we're engaged in.
Oh, yeah.
And now we got to impeach President Trump because of that. Because this guy who showers with his daughter, and according to her diary, this guy who's raised this deviant named Hunter, this guy who's been scheming and conniving for decades. Okay. Yeah, he's the one that deserves protection. Right. That makes no sense at all.
Oh, absolutely. So here he is.
Every single solitary, serious, and your network and others have looked at this. Zero basis to the accusation that I acted any way inappropriately or that my son did. Every major national, international, and local news operations looked into it has said it's a lie.
This can and will be used at his impeachment hearing if he happens. He should probably step down and not run, because this stuff has got to come back and haunt him at some point. And they actually did finally, ask him a couple of questions a couple of times. They try to shield him, but here he is getting caught off guard.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Why did the Ukraine FBI informant file refer you as why is that term
It's pretty hard to understand with all the chatter in the background, but he's basically asking, why did the Ukraine FBI informant refer to you as the big guy? And then Biden just
Why did I ask such a dumb question?
Why did you ask such a dumb question? And then here's another one. Okay, it's hard. Yeah, you got to stand in the entryway there and try to squeeze in a quick question, but not that he's going to be forthcoming about anything that's going to incriminate him and his family. But yeah, so the pressure's amping up, getting a little hot. So it's going to catch up, and maybe the media is sick of propping him up, and they are finally ready to flush him down the toilet.
Where he belongs. Would you agree or disagree then that Biden is not physically, mentally, or legally healthy enough to run in 2024?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's finally occurring to them that he's a liability. Yes, he's a rubber stamp because he'll sign anything you want, but they can't pretend that he doesn't have, he's up to his eyeballs in corruption, dementia. He's stumbling around. He's got lots of issues, and they can only pretend for so long. And now maybe they're actually starting to turn on him. And that was part of this poll was from a headline from Paul Joseph Watson here from Summit News, saying it's actually his brother Steve, more than 2/3 of voters, 43% of Democrats, say Biden not physically or mentally fit enough. And here's another thing that the liberal media was freaking out about over the weekend, because RFK, nearly 70 years old, shows up in like Muscle Beach in California and was lifting these weights, which is really impressive. And people just had to find just miserable people that have to just find some reason to criticize everything. We're freaking out about it. But yeah, the thing is, he's ready to go. He's quite the specimen, physically, mentally. He's ready to go. He's just dwarfs over Biden, the liability that is the Biden and his family. And they're afraid of a competitor, and they're afraid of RFK. So now they're going to be scrambling to figure out, maybe they're going to have to run somebody like a Gavin Newsom. There's no way they can continue to prop up this puppet for another 4 years. So,
yeah, so that's very interesting. I see that picture, and I can't help but kind of think of Jack LaLanne.
Yeah. I used to have one of those juicers. The Goop Man. Yep. Jack LaLanne is a legend. Yeah. That dude used to do ridiculous feats of strength, though. That was like, he used to swim across the English Channel with weights on his legs or something. I mean, don't quote me on that, but he's done some crazy feats of strength.
Yeah, it was like he would.
This is amazing.
He would have a tugboat. He would swim across. What was it, like the Pacific where Alcatraz was, and he'd swim from Alcatraz to shore, pulling a tugboat attached through his teeth.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the many things he would do. I think he did that multiple times. Yeah, so I don't know. Talking about Jack LaLanne being the juicer guy, I don't know. Do we really want a guy who could possibly be jacked up on steroids to the gills taking over as president? I mean, yes, you got Mr. Burns, like, I'm Joe Biden and I sniff little children and I shower with my daughter and I steal money and I sell America out. Okay, so he's little Mr. Burns. And then you got this guy, he's, oh, I'm here to pump you up.
Yeah. No,
he's definitely, 70-year-olds don't look like this. Like, something's going on here. definitely.
I don't think he's actually doing like illegal steroids or anything, but
Okay.
you think so? All right. I mean, there's people.
No,
who do, like
he's
HGH
jacked.
or
Good for him.
supplements.
That's awesome.
Right.
I should now model the rest of my life use that as like an aim. I should try to get to that point, and I'll be doing okay, right?
Yeah. He's modern.
But Mr. Burns
science.
walks around with limp wrists all day with Smithers, Karine Jean-Pierre, help me cover up some stuff.
For sure.
It's a very stark contrast. And then you have Gavin Newsom. So who do you think? Let's play a game. Who do you think would win the Democrat nomination if Joe Biden gets impeached and jailed for treason?
If he gets impeached and jailed for treason, I think you're looking at an RFK or something. I don't think you can run a similar platform. It would cause ripples throughout the party, and people would have to distance themselves from that corruption. They wouldn't have any credibility left. I think that would backfire in a much more spectacular way. And so they would have to find a different faction of the party, I think, to represent the new ideals of the not so corrupt, Biden-Obama extension administration.
Yeah, so Obama, Biden being the most corrupt.
Yeah, so Gavin wouldn't fit into that because he's basically, in with Pelosi and the whole DNC. So they would have to have an outsider. So I don't know if that would work. I don't know who they could run, but yeah, I just think they're going to find a way to prop him up over the finish line, but then he's just going to drop out from running for the second term. And then they're going to put somebody else in. Because if he actually gets impeached, that's going to just, that'd be awesome. That would actually be a better case scenario. But then that would change everything as far as who they can actually put in. Because they would have to have somebody that's got no ties to Biden or the crooked DNC.
Well, what about what about the American psycho himself, Gavin Newsom?
No, he's way too much of a company man, DNC guy. He's with Biden and with Pelosi and all of that old guard DNC.
Well,
so they could run them.
So that's who's going to get in. They have the Democrats are notorious for not allowing the real candidates with energy into their party. They're the ones that will eschew. They will go bend over backwards to screw the Bernie bros out. And really, American psycho, doesn't this look like Gavin Newsom? I'm just kind of saying, like,
oh yeah, no, people have made that connection. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He definitely comes off as that.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any way RFK could get the Democratic nomination with the Democrats in charge of that party. I think it's going to be Gavin Newsom hands down. Gavin Newsom is going on Fox News and he's making the rounds. He's, been quiet. Remember him and the two loser candidates, Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis? They were kind of going around on their media tours and, we're doing an exploratory committee. And it's like, yeah, we all hate both of you. I'm like, okay.
Right.
I mean, do you really think RFK would have the inside track there to go up against the people that totally torpedoed Bernie Sanders for corrupt Hillary?
Yeah, but look what the Democratic Party had to do, and they had to show their hand, and they got busted trying to, go after the Bernie people.
Busted. And what repercussions did they have? If there's no repercussion, nobody got busted.
Right. Well,
they
Debbie
do whatever they want.
Schultz, they stepped down. They had a big crisis at the DNC. They had to admit the cheating. Like, it was a big deal. And the people that were the Bernie people knew that they got screwed. And then you had, Seth Rich tied into that, who may have, given that information that they were cheating Bernie people and handed it over to WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, and it was whacked. So
don't you mean that checks notes blame Russia for everything? Don't you mean Russia hacked the DNC? You said Russia, right? Yes, Russia hacked the. Yes, Russia hacked the DNC. Wait, Russia rigged the election. I mean, wait, Russia is responsible for what's going on in Ukraine, for all the NATO forces going and massing over on the border there in the bioweapons labs. Wait. Yep. We got to. Yep. It's probably it was Russia. It was Russia.
Right.
But they were the ones that Seth Rich, right?
Yeah, it was like Guccifer, and it was a Russian hack, what have you. They tried to spin it, but the reality is that they got nailed. They had a big PR nightmare disaster with the DNC and with DNC Debbie, and then they actually served her, and another guy was mysteriously died. The guy who served papers to Debbie in Washington when they were trying to sue her. There was some weird shit. Some people died. Like, it was bad. So I think there's a lot of people are really pissed at the Democratic Party. RFK is gaining popularity. Maybe you'll get the disenfranchised, angry Bernie bros. And they'll also jump in with RFK. They're not going to support Biden, and they might not even support Newsom. I don't know. We're not sure how this is all going to fall out,
but there are articles of impeachment now. And he's definitely, it appears as though he's definitely dead to rights, deer in the headlights.
It's going to be a problem if they, pursue this. They got a lot of issues that they're trying to cover up and trying to distract us from. It's
about friggin' time. It's about friggin' time. And I just need everybody to stay on offense. You've been playing defense for like 30 years. It's time to go on offense and stay on offense. You have the facts on your side. Keep pushing. So let's talk about the stuff they're trying to cover up. Let's pivot to the next topic, Blake.
Yeah.
So with the Democrats, we have a standard theme. Everything is rigged, and nothing is what it seems. And they think that they have a magic wand that can just talk through the earpiece of the lying legacy media as if anybody trusts them anymore. Thank you, President Trump, for forever completely breaking that window into a million tiny shards shattered across the lawn. Nobody will ever put Humpty Dumpty back together again. The lying legacy media is dead. And Blake, I need you to cut that out as like a little teaser for our show. But thankfully that has happened. But I just, now it sure appears as though there has been a shift. Even the lying legacy media outlets know that they can't keep their finger in the dam any longer. They've kind of taken off running in the opposite direction and actually reporting on what's going on. And what's going on is Hunter Biden is going to have an upcoming deposition Thursday. Blake, do you agree or disagree that Hunter, what's his real name? Robert, right? Robert?
I don't know about that.
I heard somebody say Robert Hunter Biden. I'm like, that doesn't sound right at all. So I got to get used to that, especially but we need to, because when it gets to a court case and he gets charged with treason and maybe suffers the consequences of what that provides, and his father too, and Obama, of course, Hillary, of course, the key players that we're all hoping get exposed. It seems like even CNN and some of these outlets are now discussing what's happening. So he should be worried about his deposition, this Hunter Biden. Yeah.
I am going to disagree, even though it is a big story. This is where he dropped the laptop off in this Delaware shop for this John Isaac character who inspected the laptop, held onto it for a long time, realized it had really some awful stuff from the president's son, turned it into the FBI, and then they went after him pretty hard. He ended up closing his shop. And now he's kind of trying to vindicate his decisions here. But he's going to, so Hunter is going to be deposed on Thursday in a couple days from now. And here's what he should be asked under oath. This is from Margot Cleveland of the Federalist. So, and they're saying that this time the father's administration won't be able to protect him. So Hunter Biden was going to face hours of questioning under oath when he sits for deposition in the civil case brought by the owner of the computer repair shop where he abandoned his laptop. The deposition represents the first time the president's son will be forced to confirm that he did indeed own the laptop that contained a cache of emails incriminating the Biden family in a pay-to-play scandal. And unlike the criminal investigation on Hunter's conduct, this time his father's administration won't be able to protect him. So we shall see. I don't know. They're from Delaware. I would assume he can pull some strings, get the best lawyers. I just think he's just going to play the card of, I was messed up. I don't remember anything. I don't know even though he did go there at least twice. So he did know that he went there to drop off the laptop one time, and then he came back with an external hard drive so that this computer shop owner could transfer whatever files from the computer to his lap. So he's going to get contradicted in a couple of things.
Oh, and, you mean like the libs of TikTok, Brian Krasenstein contradiction thing?
I'm not 100%. That might have been staged. I don't know. I know there's something wrong with those dudes. I don't. I can't believe that anybody could be, quote unquote, independent journalists and then completely
independent journalists. That guy is a paid shill for the DNC.
I know. I understand that. I'm trying to figure out how they present themselves as independent journalists when it's clearly they take every talking point from the DNC. You would think they'd be on the payroll. There's a video where they act like they're on the payroll, but I don't know if that's genuine. And they got community notes on that one. I don't know. Something is suspicious, and there's got to be a paper trail somewhere, and they've got to be compromised somehow.
So you don't think Hunter really has that much to? Yes, it is Robert Hunter Biden, by the way. And hopefully we can start saying that, because all really big criminals, you get to use your middle name or your nickname. So Robert Hunter Biden, convicted of treason. Let's speak this into existence. So you just don't think because they had a getaway, they had a powwow. What was it, this weekend? The Bidens. He brought his son over, and they huddled around, and then he came out with an attorney. So now they have legal representation, because they're in deep trouble. There's really no way to keep lying about this. You can't pretend. I mean, just think how far the alphabet agencies went to rig the 2020 election by bringing out 50 plus intelligence officials to lie about the Robert Hunter Biden laptop that has, what was that report? North of 450 crimes documented on it.
I don't know any exact numbers, and I don't know if there's any way to know, but there is a lot of incriminating stuff on there, and a lot of it they can't just share with the public. It's really, disturbing or illegal and incriminating and all kinds of issues, which is why this laptop repairman, tried to do the right thing and turn this in. Instead, he was harassed for, bringing out the truth.
But remember, just like let's impeach Trump for trying to look into the corruption of the Bidens. No. Let's try to find a way to blame, checks notes, Rudy Giuliani, because he sweated one time and some of his hair dye ran down his forehead. Nope, Rudy Giuliani's the problem, not the 400 alleged crimes of Robert Hunter Biden, convicted of treason, perhaps. I mean, from laptop to lap dance. Yes, Kenneth, you got those little quips. I love the Kenneth. Oh, we need to do that. We need to have a section called Kenneth Quips. I like Kenneth.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down.
No, something about the K and the double K kind of work. Kenneth Quips. Anyway.
Look at the wordplay. All right.
Well, bye. So anyway, we'll see. I mean, Robert Hunter Biden, perhaps soon to be charged with all sorts of crimes and living his crackhead life in a prison cell.
Living his best life. In Malibu, at his private Malibu home with all of his high-end hookers and rails of cocaine.
Ill-gotten gains. Sir.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's true. Ill-gotten gains.
So when exposed, you should be left penniless. You should impound that convertible that was right next to piles and piles and pages and boxes of documents from a vice president who did not have the authority to declassify a single thing. This whole President Trump thing is so ridiculous. The president of the United States is the commander in chief of all things. If he does something and says something, he's the one in charge of it. If he has the box in his house, it's because it's his box and the commander in chief deemed that to be his. Where's the confusion here? There is none. You can look at Pence, who was not president and did not have the authority. One human in the United States government has the authority to declassify documents. One human has the ability as the commander in chief to take boxes home and to have their own personal documents. Every president does. Every president's entitled to the same intelligence briefings to keep up with what's going on. There's no case there. There's no there. To quote Van Jones, it's a big nothing burger. But yes, here we are. This is what we're talking about, Blake. And this kind of leads into the next topic that we're going to discuss right now on the Agree to Disagree show. All right. Well, Blake, agree or disagree that this leaked Trump audio, alleged leaked Trump audio, because all the deep fakes, you just got to kind of always add alleged now, from CNN is a distraction from the Biden family scandals?
I am going to agree. So, a lot of people are speculating that there's big scandals like the wag the dog type of thing. They're under fire. Hunter Biden had a lousy week last week with the gun charges, the IRS stuff. Of course, the texts that they found with the WhatsApp trying to bribe a Chinese national, major stuff. So then they had the submarine story that they dragged out for a few days, even though they knew there was no story there. And then all of a sudden, they had the Russian coup. That was another big distraction. And all of a sudden now we have these leaked audio from Trump and his classified docs where he was kind of candidly talking about this stuff. I don't know the context either. My first instinct was, this sounds AI or it's weird, or how do they put this together? I'm not saying it's not real. It maybe it is, and I'll have to go with that because I think I did see a part of the interview with Brett Baer where he was asking some tough questions. So it seemed like they already knew that this was there. So his question is, who taped it? Like, when did this happen? Who was the lady he was speaking to? I don't have the full context of that, and maybe it's not it's not appropriate, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like it's criminal, a problem that needs to be punished. But I don't know. I'm not qualified to make that. That's not my area of expertise here. But it certainly pales in comparison to the Biden family bribe. So it's certainly not equal. And then you got Merrick Garland. He's shutting down an investigation into the Bidens. Meanwhile, he's going after Trump for everything. So it's a double standard, and they shouldn't be able to do that. We also have, let me pull up a few stories. I've got one of our longtime favorite, Mark Levin, making a comment here. If I can pull this up, here we go. Saying Trump lawyers need to file an immediate motion to dismiss the entire case, and that Jack Smith, the prosecutor, must go to prison for this. So this is yesterday, Monday afternoon.
Alvin Bragg as well.
Yeah, I think they've dropped their entire case. But
I think they said they're going to defer to the federal case for now. I don't think they actually dropped it. I could be wrong, but I thought they just said they're going to defer and grant. They're going to let them go first. I don't know if it was dropped. That's a good distinction I'd like to clear up. But they did back off a little, but they did it in the first place, and they need to be penalized. If there's no penalty, you're going to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's this, I guess Smith supposedly leaked this highly edited audio to CNN of Trump discussing these classified documents from General Milley's wackadoodle plan to use tens of thousands of soldiers to invade Iran.
Milley is such a nut job. And by the way, do we know who recorded this? Who recorded
it? No, I don't. That
should be the first question to ask. Why was this recorded? By who?
And let me pull it up from CNN. Let's see if I can I pull this up?
Oh, I thought you were going to quote a news source.
Well, I'm looking at it because there is a source from that, because the CNN is basically leaking this story. So, or they got the access to this leaked tape. So I'm wondering who this woman is.
Oh, you mean like when they were there, when Roger Stone was roused out of bed during that raid?
Yeah, they were tipped off and were there with the cameras ready to go. It was disgusting.
And Merrick Garland needs to be impeached and imprisoned as well. There's no way around this. There is a rogue element to this society that is just blowing past norms, standards, and operating protocol here. And there has to be repercussions for this third Obama administration that just thinks they're immune to this. We all know Obama and his team are pulling the strings behind the scenes. We know Biden can't complete a sentence. He doesn't even know what he's doing. And that will likely be his excuse when all of this starts to hit the fan. He's suddenly going to get 25th, if you will. I mean, mark my words. We'll see who it is. Not Mark Levin, but mark my words, his cousin. Mark Levin. Go ahead. So what else we got on this one?
Well, CNN, I guess this audio recording is from a meeting in 2021 in Bedminster, New Jersey. And it's just, all it says is that it's one of his staffers. So I don't know, that's the female voice in the call. So, and it does sound like odd, like either it was, manufactured by AI or it's just heavily edited. So we don't know the full context of it. Not saying that it's good, but it's not really, doesn't sound that bad. But the fact is, he really shouldn't be showing that kind of stuff to the staffers. But again, we need a lot more context to find out who it was and what everything that was said about it. And it's a trivial thing. I don't think it's worth throwing him in prison for decades, like they're certainly trying to do.
They're so stupid. These people are so stupid. Everybody has been talking about war with Iran for 40 years since Reagan? Yeah, probably longer than that, but let's at least go back to Reagan. You could probably bypass the peanut farmer in between there and then go back behind him to Ford and Nixon and Johnson and anyway, but so mentioning a possible altercation with Iran is supposed to get you thrown in jail for life? Everybody knows that. Everybody, find a person who's aware that countries exist and that Iran, let's talk about the Green Revolution with Barack Hussein Obama back in whatever year that was. Was that first term Obama? I mean, the Green Revolution, there was a chance to actually help that nation, and Obama took the side of the bad guys. Shocking. No, not shocked at all, because all he does is try to ruin things. He's almost like pestilence incarnate. Like he is a swarm of locusts, just eating and devouring and destroying the things around him. I don't know what Barack Obama has touched that he's made better.
Not much. It was the hope and change that was the complete opposite. He was very slick in the way he presented it, though. But no, and a lot of things did not turn out well. It was not a good administration, and now we have the extension of it. But I guess, so this is apparently these two people that were in this room talking to Trump, they were working on an autobiography of Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, as well as aides employed by the former president. So maybe that would explain why they were recording it. But the attending sources, they did not have security clearances that would allow them to access some kind of a hypothetical attack of Iran. So it wasn't like he was spilling nuclear secrets, but maybe he was careless in the way that he, just candidly talked about this.
I mean, it's careless. Nothing. What if he's, instead of careless, what if he's cavalier? This was Milley attempting to get him into some foreign quagmire, and Trump said, "Yeah, I'm good, thanks."
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So is that worth the punishment? No.
He didn't go for that. That's documented by the fact that in those 4 years, he did not attack Iran. He had people advising him to do so. What, you can't talk words anymore? You can't speak experiences anymore?
Right. I mean, and this is hypothetical. It wasn't something that happened and now he's leaking like, oh, okay, the public didn't know this, but this is what really happened. It's not. It's just it was a hypothetical invasion put out by one of these warmongers.
And look, people have hated Iran since the religious zealots took over. One of the guys I knew in Los Angeles, his father was a part of the administration when they got overthrown in that awful situation that set Iran back decades and decades and decades.
The Shah, yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt that people hate Iran and that some people are encouraging people in positions of power to invade, to attack, to get us drawn in to yet another quagmire.
Wasn't that a CIA coup that overthrew Mossadegh to put in the Shah of Iran and just to put tyranny on the Iranian people when they were thriving?
And who did Obama help? Who did Obama and McCain help back when all of Northern Africa,
moderate rebels?
Yeah. When that dude set himself on fire,
freedom fighter.
He self-immolated himself in what city? What country was that? right in the tip of northern Africa.
It was in Libya, not Benghazi, but Tripoli or something like that.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
They funded ISIS. That's who they backed, was ISIS.
Yeah.
That's who these people are. So what? The CIA lays claim to they want to be the forever president, and they've done such a good job getting us involved in. I'm sorry, what? I think their batting average is what, 0? I mean, maybe not 0. There might have been a couple things they did that were good, but holy crap. They just leave destruction. They leave sorrow in their wake. What up, Jane? Kenneth saying it's an abomination. An abomination. Abomination. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about, and he was there when they did the overthrow of Mossadegh. He would know. Or that's when Mossadegh came to power. It wasn't until the 70s that the Shah was installed.
And they show these pictures of Iran back in the day in the 60s, 70s. It looks like a totally different place. And you see it today. It's just, it looks like a spooky house. It looks like a haunted house or something.
They put fundamentalists in charge.
All these ghosts walking around, and everybody's afraid to sneeze in public without getting beheaded at the public soccer arena. It's like, this is the most backward bullshit I've ever seen. How did we go so far backward? They're all wearing ghost costumes, walking around in 140-degree heat. It's like, this is not progress. This is, I don't know. Anyway.
No, it was awful, and we're seeing the same thing playing out in Ukraine right now. So I do want to pull up a tweet since we're the last part of this subject. This guy's been nailing it. I don't know where he came from, but I've been seeing a lot of great tweets from him lately, and he's breaking down the leaked Trump audio, saying the Department of Justice leaked it. It's highly illegal.
Which tweeter are we talking about?
His name is Clandestine.
Oh yeah, Clandestine that's a legendary figure in the Twitterverse. Yes.
Yeah, so he's got plenty of following. So he's saying all the docs Trump took were already declassified and legally his property, and that Milley created a contingency to attack Iran when Trump backed out of Obama's Iran deal. And that was when you were alluding to, and that there was a lot of money paid off. So they're showing, hey, firstly, notice how the Dems always claim they care so much about the integrity of the law and respect for the secrecy of ongoing investigations. Yet they've been leaking anything and everything that benefits them since 2016. And not a single official in the Biden regime will utter a syllable about Hunter Biden, the ongoing investigation. It's just more double standards, Miller investigation, Mar-a-Lago raid, an audio leak showing the levers of the deep state working in unison once again to go after Trump. And anyway, so.
And it's so interesting that RFK is running now. I saw him. Did you see him talking with Bill Maher?
I think so. Yes, there was a video, but I didn't have time to look on it. But
unfortunately, it wasn't one of Bill Maher's best interviews, I would say. He did a lot more talking and interrupting, but it made me wonder if it was partially because of RFK's speech impediment with his vocal surgeries, that he couldn't kind of like one up him in intensity. So he kind of got steamrolled by Bill Maher getting drunk and high and just talking about himself way too much. But there was interesting stuff in there. But my point is, it's so interesting that there's never been this much scrutiny on the CIA. And like I said, them thinking that, remember when George Washington took over and they said, will you be a king here in America? And he said, why would you trade? God, I always screw that quote up, but it's something about,
it's a tough one, but even
one King George 2,000 miles away versus another King George here. We didn't fight to just put another King George in place, but the CIA thinks they are the kings. They are the kingmakers, and they will erase Bobby Kennedy. They will erase JFK. They will erase President Trump. They will install also. It's just kind of like, who died and made you king? Who put you in charge of what? Like, we understand that there needs to be some sort of limited military apparatus to protect us from all threats, foreign and domestic, but they have become the thing that they've sworn to protect against. They are the threat that's domestic. They are the threat that's foreign. They are linking it all together in all sorts of bullshit. And it's just kind of like, it's interesting that the Kennedys are forefront at this time when we see the CIA setting up President Trump to take him out. Maybe not take him out, but they're trying to take him out legally. It's the same damn thing. It's corporate. it's lawfare. It's a warfare being waged in the legal system, and it's insane. I just don't know who these people think they are. They don't have a good track record. They're not improving the lives of Americans. They've become the enemy of the people. I don't know how else we can describe it at this point. And it's just so interesting that Kennedy is right there at the forefront reminding you, hey, remember all those years ago when we blew off the head of this dude's uncle? Remember? And he got into detail about the autopsy report with Sirhan and with his father. And he said, Sirhan didn't kill him. He got shot 3 times in the back from a CIA operative. And I'm just kind of going, I don't remember this story. I don't really remember. And they talked about the autopsy and how the shots came from behind and up. And then the CIA agent that was interviewed said he was just trying to shoot Sirhan. But like all the shots that Sirhan took, allegedly, according to RFK Jr., not me, they all missed. One went into the wall over here. One went through this guy's shirt. One went over here and hit this guy. 3 shots, none of them hit. The first 3, and then he emptied it. The shots that killed his dad came from behind, and it was a CIA guy that offed another Kennedy. So, I mean, look, at some point, you have to call this out for what it is. This is domestic terrorism. This is overthrowing. These are coups. These are insurrections. This is treason at the highest level. I mean, it's the worst of the worst, Blake.
Yeah, they committed a coup, basically overthrew the sitting president, shot him in broad daylight, blamed it on a patsy, and then who said he was a patsy, and then they shot him before he could go to trial. And then, with Bobby Kennedy about to run, they had to take him out, and then Sirhan shows up out of nowhere. And that poor guy, it looked like he was the assassin. It was easy to blame everything on him. He's been rotting in a jail cell ever since. And RFK Jr., I believe, has actually sat with him and talked to him while he was in jail and realized, no, this man didn't kill my father. It was just it's an easy patsy because no one's going to miss him.
And so, check out that Bill Maher RFK interview as well. Let's jump into the lightning round here. We got a couple of quick stories as Blake has somewhere to run to. But let's talk about this. Blake, would you agree or disagree that excess deaths and heart disease is being caused by the vaccine industry? Are we allowed to talk about this subject on social media? Are we allowed to discuss this in the real world? Because the powers that be have their pockets lined with pieces of silver from that traitor Judas, because you don't give a damn about anything except your own pockets, except truthiness requires questioning things, and that's what we do here. So piss off if you don't like us. I don't know. What's the latest story that's coming out? This is in, what was it, England?
There's a few of them. This is a recent study. I've got a couple stories pulled up, and I love Becker News, but my God, this guy, it's time for a update on the website. Like a nice big a different picture. It's all right. Awful medical.
Yeah. We need more gross photographs of like every story you scroll past. It's got these gross graphics of like body parts and like, oh, am I looking at testicles or like intestines or intesticles? Oh, it's so gross. Like I can't even look at the screen when you scroll past. So if that's your version of an update, Blake, I don't know. But anyway,
I actually have to try to avoid some of it because of that very reason. You should have seen what was on there before. There's a study here. I'll just get to that. So after COVID pandemics end, there's 500 excess heart deaths are being recorded every week in England. And then I went to the site here. Oops, I accidentally... So it leads to this study that's been putting out of England, and then they're finding all of these excess deaths right now. So they're thinking that the underlying cause was probably the COVID-19 and the experimental vaccines. We don't know. We're just speculating. But what is the cause of this? What else would it be coming from? Is there something going on that people should know about? So there's uncomfortable data. They found 96,540 deaths, including CVD in England, where since the onset of the pandemic, more than 50%, I guess, occurred in the first year, but then they dropped significantly in the second but then they've rebounded in the third year of the pandemic, where there are around 13,000 more excess deaths involved than in the preceding second year. I won't go over all the different statistics, but people are noticing patterns, as well as we got heart disease risk skyrocketing at 13,200%. That's staggering, following COVID injections. And I guess even the CDC has probably been reluctantly forced to admit this. So
reluctantly crouched at the starting line.
Yeah, great song. But yeah, this is a problem. So the stats are adding up, and I did also want to throw in this video from a postal worker doing her route, also saying that what's possibly the cause of 19 customers dying on her mail delivery route in only 4 months. So again, we don't know. I'm throwing some statistics out there. Been alarming issues and adverse reactions that have come out of this unprecedented push to get the public to take the COVID vaccines, but there could be consequences for that sort of thing. And check this one out. It's only a 1-minute video.
But speaking of consequences, will Bill Gates be held to consequences? Will Fauci be held to consequences? Will pharma in general be held to consequences? If not, we're going to get more of it.
Oh, absolutely. And they love to, they make a lot of money on that stuff. They get a lot of publicity on it. The question is, why do they want to push these so hard? Is there some ulterior motive, or are they acting in good conscience? And this was, just unintended consequences of trying to save humanity from this Wuhan flu. So here we go. This is a postal carrier, undisclosed location, but here she is.
Nothing yet.
How's the audio? I know it's like bad because he's like, I don't know, it's got her engine on or the vents running through her.
No, I can't even hear anything yet.
Oh, you can't hear anything. Okay.
Zero.
You heard the last video I played, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
When he was working out at the beach?
Yeah. Okay, so you can't hear this?
I can't hear a thing.
Well, that's
your audio changed a moment or two ago. It sounds like you're standing in a different room. Something changed with the audio.
Okay, I don't know if that's on me.
Yes, better.
Okay, I won't run this because there is a lot of bad audio in the background of this, but this was sent to me by a friend of mine, and she said this is alarming. And I've heard some of the conspiracies that have been calling, for mass die-offs or something like that, really horrific, scary stuff, which is, take with a grain of salt. We hopefully nothing like that will happen. But this lady is claiming that she had 19 customers on her mail route that have died in only 4 months. She says normally in a year's time, 1 or 2 people might die of just natural causes. It happens. But to have 19 in 4 months is something wrong. And some people think that these vaccines, whether it causes heart issues, it's the adverse reactions, or if it's just weakening people's immunity, weakening their immune systems to the point where they're more vulnerable to any other number of colds, flus, or bugs, or what have you that may be going around. So,
or maybe she's passing around ricin or something through the mail. Remember when they were sending that back to the White House under Bush? Remember?
I remember, like white powders, the ricin, and they had that in Breaking Bad. That was like a
anthrax and white powder. Maybe this is just a brazen serial killer putting out a story, just like that lady who killed her husband and wrote a book about dealing with grief. Remember that one? She just got busted for that. Anyway,
there's some clever.
I would put it out there as a possibility to consider, just because it's interesting. But anyway,
Black Widow of the mail route, right?
Well, but you know what? Maybe it's not really the vaccines that are causing these deaths and heart disease. Maybe it's climate change, Blake. Do you agree or disagree that inflation is likely caused by climate change?
I think that's the most obvious answer at this point. Right. But let me pull this up because people have to see it to believe it, but it's not surprising. But here it is. It's Christine Lagarde, president of the European Central Bank. So the president of the European Central Bank, this would be like, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell level, coming out and talking about the inflation is due to climate change. So, because France just hosted an international summit for a new global financing pact, which was attended by world leaders, including Christine Lagarde. So one of the agendas to build a new contract between the countries of the North and South to address climate change and the global crisis. And with a straight face, she declared climate change affects inflation. And inflation is the beast that all central bankers want to tame and discipline. Number two, because it affects our balance sheets, whether it's 3 trillion, 7 trillion, it is affected by climate change.
Climate change
here
affects
it is.
inflation.
I don't know if we can hear this.
And inflation is the beast that all central bankers, whether they wear a green jacket or not,
The beast.
want to tame and discipline. Number two, because it affects our
Sounds
balance.
like Klaus Schwab. I wonder if they're married.
I want to discipline the beast.
Whether it's a 3 trillion or a 7 trillion balance sheet, it is affected by climate change.
So I guess when you're sitting in the room full of these people, it makes sense internally, but to the rest of us, it just sounds ridiculous. They actually are smoking their own dope. They believe their own BS, and they continue to push this climate hoax on people. And now they're actually saying that they think that it's caused by inflation. And there are people that are dumb enough to believe that, and that's what's terrifying.
Well, it's backwards that climate change is causing inflation, not that inflation is causing climate change. But yes, connecting those two is just ridiculous on any level. But isn't it really just the pizza ovens that are causing inflation, Blake?
In
New York City climate
Let's
change?
check this one out. Actually, I got to pull. This is a great meme from Greta here. How dare you with the old classic brick and coal pizza oven there out of New York. So here is this is it. This is utter BS. New York considering new rules to ban emissions from coal and wood-fired pizza ovens. So they're trying to reduce carbon emissions by 75%. And that could it's nearly 1,700 pizzerias across the 5 boroughs in New York City. And one city official said about 100 pizzerias could be impacted. So they're going to try to get these guys to put all this really expensive equipment in. So they talked to one of these guys.
You see what Kenneth put in there?
No.
I can't even say it.
Right. Soon you will be fined for farting. Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising.
No. The one above that. The one above that. It's a great headline. I just can't say it.
Well, yeah, that's right. Gate
It's
pizza.
like Watergate, but it involves this triangular shaped food. Anyway, please continue with this.
Yeah, it's going to be another issue. So they're trying to this guy, Pauly Giannone, the owner of Pauly G's in Greenpoint, told the
That
New
sounds
York
like a
Post.
pizzeria guy.
Oh, absolutely. Brian, have you been to New York? Had the pizza?
Yeah. I went right after September 11th, actually, and it didn't feel real. I was just stuck watching the news. I felt like that South Park episode where it's like, Sharon, you've been watching the news nonstop for 3 weeks. I think it's time you shower. It's like, what? I remember like we were all like comatose, like what's even happening? So we went out there and got my shoes shined by a guy. He's like, yeah, man, this has been my office for 31 years. He goes, you see that down there? In his office, meaning that street corner. He goes, you see that right there? I go, what? He goes, exactly. That's where the towers used to be. And I used to come into my office every day and look at them and talk to them. Now they're gone. I'm like, ooh, okay, now it feels real. But yeah, I got pizza while I was there. It's just so silly. Like, so are they going to remove these pizza shops and try to put in like grasshopper factories?
Well, I'm sure they could if they would if they could, and they're probably setting that up, getting for it. But this particular owner, Pauly, saying it's not just the expense of having it installed because it can cost tens of thousands of dollars to purchase emission control scrubbers, and he's also saying it's the maintenance. He's got to pay somebody install this stuff and go up there every couple of weeks and hose it down. The air filters are expensive. It's a huge hassle, and it's going to change everything about their pizza. It's not going to be the same if they can't do what they normally do. He says if you mess around with the temperature in the oven, you'll change the taste, the pipe, the chimney. It's the perfect size to create the perfect updraft. It keeps the temperature perfect. It's art as much as science. And if you take away the char, the thing that makes the pizza great, you kill it. So not only is it going to cost him a ton of money, but if the people aren't going to like the pizzas anymore, then he's going to go out of business. So I don't know why they're so convinced that this is somehow going to play a big role in that. It makes no sense. We just had a big forest fire. I mean, New York turned orange from the Canadian wilderness fires, and now they're worried about a few wood-fired pizza ovens.
This pizza oven scandal has the potential to become as large as Watergate. This pizza oven scandal has the potential of becoming as large as Watergate.
Absolutely. It's crazy, but
that's
fantastic.
All right, final story, Blake. Last one of the day, and you're out of here. Pride parades. Ooh, Blake, do you agree or disagree that they've set the gay community back 50 years? half a century.
Oh, well, this is actually an alternative, or this is a headline from The Onion. So this is actually satire. Okay. It's a satirical article, but it's not totally way off, which so I had to run with it. I thought.
But before you pull it up, I mean, it is to kind of bring it together with the pizza story. I mean, you've had a lot of pepperoni out there, these naked people at these parades interacting with little kids that would, a normal interaction with a naked adult and a little kid would end up in a jail sentence in a criminal charge. But they got their pepperoni flopping out there. They got the little pepperonis right here. It's all about pepperoni. I don't know. I digress. This is a weird show, Blake, but go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't have an issue with the the pride stuff or do whatever you want, but the fact that they are naked and being obscene and in front of children, it's not setting a good tone. Like, I am totally 100% supportive of gay people to be open and to be gay and get into a civil union or marriage or what have you. They are free to live their best lives. But why are they doing all this? Yeah, this creepy, degenerate stuff. And I've got a whole treasure trove. Yeah, we've seen. I just haven't tweeted them out because I don't even want that stuff on my timeline. But there was a ton of that over the weekend. Yeah, all these quote unquote family friendly pride events. And it's people, simulating sex, or there was the clothing optional stuff. And we saw that really all over the country. This is, Denver, and people with their, twerking for the audience. A lot of libs of TikTok did stuff. Fully naked men with their genitalia out. I won't show some of that. At Seattle, and the naked bike riding stuff. There was that creep in his underwear in Minneapolis. Oh yeah, right here. I thought it was from last year, but apparently he showed up again, and he still did not get his ass kicked for doing stuff. Actually, I'm not even going to show this. I'm not going to go into that trap. Toronto, there's the nude adults on the bicycles. A lot of these videos are missing. Oh, and here's your buddy Brian Krasenstein trying to act like it's not a big deal.
Guy's hilarious. What? And so he puts out this. What does this one say?
He's saying seeing a man naked on a bike isn't going to have much impact on a kid. They have likely seen their father or brother naked before. And sharing an uncensored video of the naked man to 30 million on Twitter is probably worse. And maybe there's a point to that, but it's why does he always consistently defending the delusional Democrats? There's no spinning this. It's not appropriate. So, and here's more wholesome family entertainment. This is in Toronto. Yeah, a bunch of just naked dudes. I don't know why people are bringing their kids there.
But like, instead of calling somebody that would go to one of these events and behave in such a way, instead of calling them psychopaths, could you call them psychopaths?
Psycho? Yeah, there you go.
It's another Kenneth Quip.
Nice.
Psychopaths.
Good stuff. He's the wordplay maestro.
I know. Kenneth Quips.
Yeah, good call.
It's interesting. And then Bud Light sponsored another, like they're all about like the whole thing again, right? Like they what city was that? Was it Denver? Was it it's so hard to keep track.
Yeah, they're desperate for business anywhere they can get it. So
and they had a parade of people with, I don't know, 200 or 300 bright colored Bud Light shirts. And then there was a Bud Light parade float that I think the people on the parade were, I think they were being lewd. I don't know. I have a hard time keeping up with all this stuff.
Yeah, there's so many of them, and there's so many videos. And here's one that really outraged a lot of people when they were saying, you know, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. See if we can hear this.
I can hear this. Yeah, turn it up a little.
They think it's hilarious. So yeah,
is this the teachers unions? Were those all SEIU member, or no? That's a different one. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure there's a few teachers in there for sure. I mean, it's everywhere. So there's so many. It's a great article because it puts all of these video clips in one spot.
Well,
so,
make sure you've already tweeted that out on yours on Twitter. You're at TV's Blake Walley, Walley, correct?
That is true. TV's Blake Walley.
So make sure you all check those out on his Twitter feed, because as you'll find out, he's obsessed with pepperoni and parades. It's a whole thing. That's another one. He should have a bumper sticker, pepperoni and parades. But yeah, follow him there and check out thenextlevelnews.com. But anyway, before we wrap up, did you have any more to add on this this weekend of, you know, like you said, inappropriate nakedness and interaction around children? Nobody gives a shit that you're gay. Be gay. Cool. Do your thing. Stop involving the kids. Leave the kids alone. Leave the kids alone. It is grooming. It is aggressive. It is criminal. It's not okay. Like, there's a line. You become an 18-year-old adult. You do your 18-year-old life. You don't kind of bring it to the elementary school. I don't get what's happening. I don't understand the fixation with this. I mean, I kind of do, but I guess I'm waiting for enough information to come out where we're going to be allowed to talk about it publicly. But you know, I'm just sitting here trying to make sense of the stupidity.
Yeah, I don't know why they're obsessed with kids, and it's interesting because we're on this page on Twitter, and I'm seeing "Leave Our Kids Alone" is one of the top trending stories. Yeah, go ahead, go be here, be queer, go do all your festivals, enjoy yourselves, do whatever you want. But you know, just kind of, you know, have some decency and keep it away from people's kids. It's not appropriate, and it's not setting a good tone for our culture. So I'm not sure if it's setting us back 50 years, but it's not. There's a lot of a big aspect of the gay community that's embarrassed by this, and I can't say I blame them.
And I remember in like high school and maybe college, there was a lot of talk about, you know, being proud of your accomplishments, being proud of your conquests, if you will, your hookups, your sexual comings and goings, pun intended, maybe. Yeah. You know, there was a lot of, hey, I'm proud of my hookup ability. Hey, I'm proud of, you know, my sexual prowess. It's like, okay, you know, I mean, that in your teens, in your 20s, like, okay. But it's part of me is jealous. Point you just go like, it's not that you should be ashamed of who you are, but like just standing on a street corner waving your arms about being so proud of who you're banging. It's like, you're proud of like this is a sophomoric thing. Like, you're supposed to kind of get out of that pride. Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. It's not even a word that really applies. It's the opposite of pride. Isn't being like living in subservient conditions and suffering the hands of abuse. It's just maybe not bragging about your sexual conquest 24/7 because nobody wants to hear it. That's your personal life. Do your personal thing. You want to rent out a facility and have a 300-person orgy. Have fun.
Yeah.
But can you stop like bragging about how proud you are of your conquests? Do what you're going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You're going to do what you're going to do. But it's just like, it's locker room talk. It's just, I'm so proud of hooking up with so-and-so this weekend. It's like, cool, bro. That's immature. And I don't care. That's your personal sexual. Like, what do I care? Like, no. I got to talk to your kids about it right now. You're like, bro, you're getting a little, I don't even know where to go with that.
Oh, here, we'll leave it with this. This is interesting little meme video somebody made to address that. We'll see if we can hear this.
This is where we hold them.
Basically, yeah, this is where you gotta hold the line in the culture war. When they start bragging about coming for your children, and you got drag queens doing story hours, it's you're pushing it a little too far.
Okay. So there's that. There's that. So anyway, what are we supposed to wait on this week? Supreme Court rulings coming in?
I'm not quite sure. I know that the Hunter's deposition is Thursday, and I'm not sure exactly what else is on the docket, what's coming down. So
I heard some affirmative action cases, discrimination cases are, well, at least one is going through the Supreme Court. They said maybe today. It might be tomorrow, but I heard maybe today. We'll see when it comes out, but this could be a shakeup for the past couple decades. But anyway.
All right. But it's been a pleasure. I do have to run, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll get another show here on Thursday. It was great to see a lot of you, and hello, Katie, and great job, Kenneth, Dr. Jekyll, and Jane, and Jody, and everybody lurking, and everybody watching in the archives. Appreciate you all. Brian, good job. And we'll see. It's been just an amazing news cycle, and I look forward to seeing what happens next time. But we will see you then. So take care. Thank you very much.
Blake, thank you so much.
Blake Walley and the Next Level News. And catch you next time. Thank you very much.
TheNextLevelNews.com and on Twitter at TV's Blake Walley. Go follow him in all of the places. And then here are the places you need to follow the New American Media. Okay. You need to just, if you can, real quick, just pull up YouTube and type in The New American Media. Maybe it'll come up. Maybe we'll be shadow banned. I don't know. But The New American Media is our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/The New American Media. We have 12 years of content and I don't know, 1,800 videos or something. Make sure you're following us there. Also, make sure you're following us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. And the New American Media, of course, because the old American Media has failed you. Our archive site, thenewamericanmedia.com. Yes, it's due for a renovation, if you will, but it has some key moments in our history on that page, and I'll try to maybe do a revamp coming up soon. But it's an important place to bookmark so that you can find us when we're shut down on certain places. So the New American Media is on Truth Social. Please add us on Truth Social. Rumble. The New American Media is on Rumble, so find us on Rumble and hit subscribe, please. Like our content. Share it, please. We are on podcast form, so you got to go to Spotify and search The Agree to Disagree Show. Do that and subscribe to our podcast and share that with your liberty-minded friends, the smart people in your life, please. You don't need to tell the dummies, just the smart people in your life, please. Where else are we? We're Telegram. TNAM Chat and TNAM Official, I believe. So follow us on Telegram. Telegram's where we put the things that are too spicy for Facebook. Facebook, the company that deleted our company page without cause and without opportunity to remedy any alleged issue. Facebook deleted the New American Media page, but we do have the Agree to Disagree Show. So it's TNAM's, TNAM''S, the Agree to Disagree Show, that you can find us on Facebook. It's a private group, but subscribe and say you heard about the private group from me. My name is Brian Engelman. So get linked up with us over there, please. Where else are we? I don't know. Parler? I don't use Parler, but we're on Parler. And if I had to, I would use it again. And, I guess Instagram, but now they've limited our ability to share. So there's TNAM Official, and then there's The New American Media. We do still exist there. So follow us on Instagram as well. But I'm trying to stop using YouTube and Instagram as much. I don't know. Whatever site you use, it's going to have limitations. There's going to be pros and cons to it. But you need to follow us in all the places on the New American Media, because where else are we going to have open conversations about the news of the day? Yeah, there's some sources out there, but we've been pretty consistent. We got a pretty good batting average, but we need you to connect on all of those forums. So please do so. And yeah, we will keep up to date on the news in those different places in between our live shows, but we love having you here. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.